You know that feeling, right? If you love to travel, you've definitely felt it recently. You're all excited, searching for a flight or a hotel, and then you see the price, and ouch. It can be so frustrating. It feels like everything is just getting more and more expensive, and let me tell you, you are not imagining it.
So what's really going on here? Is this just plain old inflation, or is there something else happening behind the scenes, something a little less obvious? Well, we decided to dig into the numbers to figure out why our holidays are making such a huge dent on our bank accounts. And what we found? Yeah, it might just surprise you.
And wow, the numbers really don't lie. A standard European package holiday, it's jumped 11.5% in just 1 year. Now, for a family of 5, we're talking nearly £600 extra, just like that. And flights, they're up almost everywhere, with a massive 13.7% spike down in Australia. So the first and most obvious suspect has got to be fuel, right?
I mean, it's the reason we hear all the time. The price of oil goes up, so airlines have to charge more to cover their costs. Makes sense. It's simple economics. But what if I told you that for once, the obvious answer is completely wrong? Okay, so get this. This is the big twist. Between 2024 and 2025, the price of jet fuel actually went down by 13%. That drop saved airlines around the world $25 billion. So if it's not fuel, then what on earth is driving these crazy price hikes?
Well, the truth is, it's not just one single thing. It's more like a perfect storm of pressures squeezing the entire travel industry from all sides. So first, let's take a look at the bigger, systemic issues that are setting the stage for these higher prices we're all paying.
Okay, so on one hand, everyone wants to travel again, right? Demand is through the roof. But on the other hand, airlines and hotels are really struggling to keep up. They're dealing with everything from global inflation to shortages of spare parts for their planes. On top of that, airports are charging them more and they have to pay their staff higher wages. All these things create the foundation for higher prices. But believe it or not, that's only half the story.
All right, this is where it really starts to hit home for all of us. Because beyond that initial ticket price, our bills are getting pumped up by dozens of fees, sneaky taxes, and add-ons that most of us never even see coming. Let's break down where your money is really going.
Just look at this for a second. In the US, before you've even thought about choosing a seat or checking a bag, up to a quarter of your ticket price can be made up of government taxes and fees. We're talking about things like federal taxes, security charges for the TSA, and fees that airports charge just for upkeep. That's a huge chunk of your budget gone.
And we're not talking about small change here. These charges can be seriously steep. In the UK, for instance, every single passenger pays something called an air passenger duty just to leave the country. If you're flying long haul in business or first class, that's an extra £224 per person. And it's not just the UK. Germany, France, the Netherlands, they all have big travel taxes like this.
And then you've got what I like to call the event tax. Airlines know exactly when demand is going to spike. School holidays, Christmas, big sporting events, and they crank up the fares. This example is just wild. A flight that normally costs about £150 skyrockets to £800 during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. That's more than a 400% increase just because they can.
Oh, and of course, let's not forget the never-ending menu of add-ons. You know the drill. That super cheap base fare you found suddenly doesn't look so cheap anymore. You want to sit with your family? That'll be 20 quid a person. Need to check a bag? Add another 50 to 70 pounds. Some budget airlines are even charging for a normal-sized cabin bag now. The bill just keeps going up and up.
And you know what's crazy? The costs start piling up before you even step foot in the airport. Just getting there has become a surprisingly expensive part of the whole journey.
Get this, at Edinburgh Airport, just to pull up to the curb and drop someone off, that'll be £6, thank you very much. And if you want to park for just 15 minutes to help them with their luggage, the price jumps to £14. It might seem like a small fee, but it's a perfect tiny example of how every single part of traveling is being turned into a way to charge you more money.
So you finally land, you think you're done paying, right? Nope. That's when you get hit with the tourist tax. So many popular places now charge an extra fee, and it's usually just tacked onto your hotel bill. In Paris, it can be over €15 a night. New York adds almost 15% plus a flat fee. And in Bhutan, wow, $100 a day per person.
And it's not just the taxes, the actual hotel rooms are getting ridiculously expensive. I mean, look at these numbers for the UK since 2019. Hotel rates in Edinburgh have gone up by a breathtaking 82%, London's up over 26%. These aren't just little adjustments. They completely change how much a trip is going to cost you.
And believe it or not, the list just keeps going. You've got those mandatory resort fees for things you might not even use, huge cleaning fees on Airbnbs, visas to get into countries like the US or soon the EU, jacked up restaurant prices anywhere near a tourist attraction. And don't even get me started on the terrible currency exchange rates at the airport. Each one is another little cut, chipping away at your travel budget.
Okay, I know. That was a lot. It can feel pretty overwhelming, maybe even a little depressing. But don't worry, there is good news. Now that we know what we're up against, we can actually plan for it. Knowledge is power. So let's walk through the actual concrete steps you can take to fight back and travel a whole lot smarter.
All right, so here it is, your new pre-trip checklist for saving some serious cash. Number 1, book way ahead. This is so important. 2, if you have any flexibility, avoid peak travel times. 3, travel with just a carry-on if you can. It can save you over £100 per person. 4, use public transport instead of expensive taxis. 5, this one's key. When you use your card, always choose to pay in the local currency. And finally, number 6, get a local SIM card or an eSIM to avoid those brutal roaming charges.
So really, the main thing to remember is this. That first price you see online, it's just the starting point. It is almost never the price you actually end up paying. Once you add in all the taxes, the fees, the visas, the bag charges, even just a bottle of water, the final bill is almost always much, much higher.
Look, just knowing about all these hidden charges is half the battle. It makes you a smarter traveler right from the start. But the real power comes from what you do with that knowledge. So the question I want to leave you with is, now that you know all this, what are you going to do differently on your next adventure?